Hey, folks. Oh, it is Thursday. It is the day after the verdict against Adrian Gonzalez. In my opinion, it was the correct verdict, especially after you've been with me that the entire trial, all of the days. You knew from day one, half of day two, I was under the opinion of screw this guy. That changed as the state presented its case, and it became overly apparent all they had was look at the dead children, convict him. That's all they had. No actual evidence of wrongdoing from criminal wrongdoing of Adrian Gonzalez. And it became more and more apparent once we realized through the defense what the prosecution tried to hide from us. What information they really didn't want the public, the jury, and probably the parents to know. But it was revealed. And that got me thinking, especially the facts about not only that the doors were unlocked, but as one of the teachers testified, they were issued the magnets that disabled the locks. And when something is issued, somebody, an entity, is the ones approving of it. So let me present to you the UCISD Board of Trustees as of 2022. Now, ignore the guy to the far right or left, depending on where you see it. Because Mr. J.J. Suarez, he was elected in early May. That was his first term on this board. First term on this board. But as you can see, you have Luis Fernandez, Rob Fowler, Laura Perez, Javier Flores, Annabelle White, and Cal Lambert. Luis Fernandez, been there since 2016. Rob Fowler since 2012. Laura since 2018. Javier, 2010. Annabelle, 2017. Cal, 2020. These are the guys who knew or should have known the practices of the school. Of Robb Elementary School. These are the guys who decided that Robb Elementary did not need a resource officer of their own. These are these guys. Interestingly, because there is a the parents settled a lawsuit against the city of Uvalde in 2024 for $2 million. They have sued the Uvalde School District individual teachers, 90 or more officers, and more. I will go through that with you at the end of the stream, how those civil suits are going. But this is the 2022 board. Let's go look at the current board. As you can see, Laura Perez is now president. Luis Fernandez is gone. Rob Fowler is gone. Javier Flores still there. Annabelle White gone. Cal Lambert gone, and other people have taken their place. But Javier Flores been there since 2010. Then president, now just a trustee. Laura Perez went from secretary to president. So there are still two people on that board that was on the board since years before the school shooting and are still there. They are, how are they even allowed to still be on the board? They are elected. Now, as I believe the civil suit against the school district was filed in 2024 as the city settled. It is a bit jumbled when it was actually filed. Who elects them? The people of Uvalde. The people of Uvalde. So it is with this information, hello, Mr. Jingles, and what came forward at trial with the issuing of magnets, the unlocked outside door, unlocked classroom doors, that we are now going to go back to the first board meeting after the shooting, when we now know this board knew that the school doors was unlocked, outside door was unlocked, and it was done with either direct consent or approval of this board. So what I'm going to do is we're going to watch this in its entirety with the information that we now know that they knew. There are sadly there are no subtitles. I've done my best to improve the sound of this.
Okay, once again, welcome to the special meeting of the Uvalde CISD Board of Trustees. Our community has experienced a tragedy, and we understand that people have strong feelings about it. We are grieving along with the rest of the community, and we ask for your commitment to maintaining a respectful and productive meeting. At special board meetings, the board receives comments on items listed on this meeting's agenda. This forum is a way for the board to receive information. This is not a forum for discussion, and board members may not respond unless it is to recite district policy or to provide a statement of specific factual information. The board appreciates your input on the agenda items that they will be considering on tonight's meeting agenda. Individuals who wish to speak or to sign up before the meeting and indicate the agenda item on which they wish to address the board. All comments given must be related to the agenda item the person signed up to speak about. Speakers may not give their time to another person. Each speaker must use their own allotted time. Each speaker may have up to 1 minute to make their agenda comments. We urge speakers to keep comments constructive. Speakers who use profane, threatening, or abusive language during any portion of the board meeting shall be ruled out of order and may be asked to discontinue their comments. Dr. Harold, moving on to item number 2, open forum.
Yes, Mr. Board President, we have 2 have signed up. First, Harper Cat.
Thank you, Superintendent. We all know there are no words to describe the sorrow and sadness and the darkness that's hovering over this community as we mourn the loss of all the students and teachers. If there was ever a time that we could stop the clock and turn it back and erase what has happened, this would be it. But we all know we can't do that. This is something that we all as a community must live with, and we must cope with, and we must deal with it and move forward. Something that each and every one of you know as a Uvaldian, and as I know and others that live here, this is a special place. It always has been, it is, and it always will be. And together as a community, by the grace of God, we'll overcome this. We'll get through it. And there will be better days. It'll be a long haul. It won't be easy. And we'll need the support of each and every one of us in this room to pull together to overcome this sadness and darkness that's in our lives. It won't prevail. Uvalde will prevail. And I wanted each and every one of you as members of this district and representatives of the district, and especially you superintendents, to know that this community is behind you. We support you. We know the difficult times that are ahead, and we want you to call on us in any way. Our prayers are with you. We support you and we love you. God bless you. God bless Uvalde, Texas.
I appreciate it.
Yes, Mr. Board President. Next, Dawn Pointevent.
Hello, thank you for letting me speak. I just came to humbly request that as you plan for our future of our children, you consider the little ones that were in first grade at Dalton, because my son is deathly afraid of school now. His last memory of Rob was that he had gone on his second grade field trip to introduce them to Rob and the teachers in the school. What he knows right now is that when he goes to another school, he's going to get shot by a bad man. I just beg you to please consider if there's any possible way for the incoming second graders that were first at Dalton, as you look at placement across the community, know that if there's a way to keep them with their Dalton family, that's the only place my son feels safe right now. We picked up his items from the classroom, and he expressed that that was the only place he wanted to go back to school. And moving him to a new campus next year is going to be very traumatic. So I just humbly ask that as you think about the plans for our children, you remember the first graders going to second. They have little memories too, and they've been traumatized as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Board President, it is.
All right, moving on to item number 3, items of division of administration and operations. 3A, consider approval of a resolution delegating authority to the superintendent to act in place of the board of trustees during an emergency.
Yes, Mr. Board President, we'll actually take this into closed session shortly. and will be discussed with our attorneys in closed session, and we'll come back out for action following closed session.
Item 3B, item of information on issues related to Robb Elementary School.
Yes, Mr. Board President. Thank you for allowing me to speak. And to the two that stood up and spoke, thank you for coming and sharing. Heartbreak does not describe what we have felt. I have not found a word that describes how deep our community has been cut. I absolutely have not. And I am saddened and just loss of words in trying to even describe what our community has felt. The teachers, our students, our staff, I want to make sure, and I was asked this again this morning, so I need to continue to repeat it until it's in everybody's mind. We are not going back to Robb School. That will not be a school for our children moving forward. We've got plans for things other than a school site for that, and that will be forthcoming as far as what we do with that location. As far as your point, our students will be at a school site other than Robb, of course, but we have not determined or decided upon that alignment yet. So, what you said and what your son spoke, we're going to listen to that voice. That will be taken into consideration, as if he's been there 2 or 3 years already, that may be a solid fabric for your family and that young man. So that's great insight and a little wisdom in there. So thank you for that. I know many of us have attended services, funerals, visitations, and grieving alongside our families here. And there are no words when we see and speak to one another. Oftentimes, I find the solace in holding one another and just being present. Not that it offers anything other than being present with the person. This still is a time that I'm going to look at. We honor, support, and love our families. We still have several days ahead of us that are going to be very trying. But as we do move forward, school, we will still have school. We will continue to make school decisions. We will start summer school in a few days and summer activities gracefully and gradually. I want people to understand that there's going to be conversations that we're going to need to have through the summer. And we're going to be open for those conversations. I think Mr. Capp put it a while ago, but the fabric of our community, Uvalde is a special place. And this past week, we have had a lot of visitors in our community, and they have said what a special place Uvalde is. We know it and know we're hurting greatly right now. And I think the world, not just Uvalde County, not just Texas, but we are getting support around the world that has come at a time that we have greatly needed the support and the love. Our families that have been devastated, it will take time. We will have to move through this. I don't think there's a time that you overcome it. I don't think this is something you overcome, but you move through together, united, and find ways to honor those families, those kids that that day was a horrible encounter for them. I know that people ask about investigation. I know that investigation is ongoing. I know the DOJ is reviewing that investigation. I want answers just like everybody, but I don't have answers. They've not given me answers. So I don't have anything to provide you in that realm. I don't. I wish I did have answers. As we move forward, our district is committed, and we're meeting with individuals, commissions, that will help us support and stand up long-term support for our families, for our teachers, for our aides, for our cafeteria workers and our bus drivers that need that support. I'm committed that once the media leaves, once 30 days goes, 60 days goes, whatever it is, Uvalde's still going to be here, and we're going to have a responsibility to our families, to our kids, to the people that live here. And I'm going to be committed, along with these individuals around this table, for our kids, for our school, to continue forward in moving our district, our kids, and still providing them opportunities in the future. The support that we've got, we've gotten teddy bears, we've gotten food, we've gotten water, we've gotten. I can't think of anything that we haven't received. And moving forward, we'll continue to receive what we receive and provide our kids, our families, what was presented to us to pass on to them. As we move forward, we are going to have some trying days. No easy answers. Just my heart goes out to the families. 19 beautiful children, and we see their faces, and they were precious. We've got 2 teachers that they were heroes on that day. When we needed a hero, there were no cakes, there were no great big muscles, but they were heroes. They were humble. They were humble servants. And what else can you ask of a teacher but to be a humble hero and a servant for their children? And they love their kids. Man, did they love their kids. They did. So this is really going to be the only public statement that's made on this behalf. But I do want to go back and just tell and reassure, that's the mess. That campus, we're not going back to that campus. We're not going, our kids, our staff, we're not going back to Robb School. We're going to accommodate, we're going to love, we're going to accept at a new address for, and then one day we'll share that with our community, what that site will become. But today, I don't have that, but one day in the very near future, we will. Mr. President, that's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Harrell. Moving on to item 4. A closed session will be held under the provisions of Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Sections 551.071 and 551.074. 4A, deliberations concerning approval of personal employment, assignments, suspension, and terminations. And 4B, pursuant to Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, the board will consult with legal counsel regarding legal issues related to the events at Robb Elementary School and legal issues pertaining to a board resolution related to providing the superintendent authorization to act during the ongoing situation. It is now 6:18 and we will convene into closed session.
I have not watched this stream. I wanted to react to it as you, raw. So let's pause here. I was expecting them to do the entire session and then goes to a closed session. It seems. Let me just check here because now my blood is boiling. Yeah, everything. Now they have been for just 20 minutes, and they didn't come back until over an hour later. So they had an hour closed session with just the Board of Trustees. So recap of this. They had people go up and speak to the Board of Trustees, expressing their grief, expressing unity. Then, as it seems, Cal Lambert, who since then has left the Board of Trustees, had a long speech about he had no answers, or since he represented the entirety of the Board of Trustees, they had no answers. They thanked for the support, for the gifts, for all the stuff, and then they went into closed session. Folks, as a union rep, as a labor employment, I've been doing labor and employment law for almost 35 years now. This in crisis, because I've been conducting meetings after workplace accidents, workplace deaths. One thing you never do is conducting closed sessions. That is the exact time for complete openness. And looking at this, June 3rd, 2022, the school board, should have known, whatever's, they are responsible for what's going on at the school. It was their decision to not have a school resource officer at site. When it comes to who issued the magnets, well, we don't know yet. Perhaps the civil suit will give us answers to that. But when it comes to safety at a workplace, it is all, there's no middle management. It is always the top of the food chain that bears the ultimate responsibility for safety at workplace. As it seems, this handing out magnets and leaving doors unlocked has been done for years. They cannot claim ignorance. They cannot. You can bet that the rep from the teachers' unions was in that closed meeting. I would assume so. I would assume so. But from my experience after close to 35 years doing this, conducting, well, of course, not mass shooting meetings, but I've held meetings when between 1 and 5 people perished at a workplace. You need full transparency. You do not hold closed sessions. Now, if there are administrative stuff, do it at another time. You inform in these open sessions, allow people to speak, take in information, and also be transparent with the things you know. Now, I don't know at this point in time if it was known to the public that the classroom doors was unlocked. I haven't found any news articles between May 24th and June 3rd expressing that, oh, they left the classroom doors. It was all about the shooter gained entrance and stuff like that. It usually I have a I have to, as of now, I have to hold back because since Ian Runkle got his stream yeeted the other day. Hello, Mr. Jingles. In the light of what we now know through the trial, the information we have, these people at the 2022 school board, with one exception, because he was just recently elected, and we can't expect him to know about this. But the rest of them had been there for, I'll give you an example. Let's look at the 2022. Louis Fernandez since 2016. Rob Fowler since 2012. Perez 2018. Flores 2010, 2017, and 2020. They had all been there for years. Years. They cannot claim ignorance over what was going on at the school, the practices at the school, unlocked classrooms, the use of magnets. There's no fucking way on God's green earth that any of these can claim ignorance. None of them. All right, let's get back to this and see what they are saying once they got back after the closed session. Again, I'm appalled that they are having this extra meeting. They have 20 minutes and then they go away. No, every question, every point, every bullet point on the agenda that revolves around Robb Elementary, open to the public in front of the fucking cameras. If they had bullet points regarding other schools, why? It was an extra meeting addressing the Robb Elementary School shooting. So why are they fucking off for over an hour? But let's listen to the final few minutes where they chose to come back.
Item number 5, reconvene in closed session for action relevant to items covered during closed session. 5A, consider taking possible action concerning approval of personnel employment assignment suspensions and terminations.
Mr. Board President, I have no action.
All right, going on to 5B. The board will consider and take possible action regarding the approval of a board resolution providing the superintendent authorization to act during the ongoing situation.
Mr. Board President, I move that the board approve the resolution delegating authority to the superintendent until further notice, those powers included in the resolution.
Second.
So in the closed session, they determined that the school superintendent should be delegated some responsibility. Is that the same school superintendent that you delegated security on the school? Is that the same superintendent that may or may not have done the practice that you approved of magnets? Is that the same one? We don't know because it was a fucking closed session.
Got a motion by trustee Laura Perez, second by trustee Javier Flores. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Entertain a vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 6, adjournment.
Mr. Board President, I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting, but before we do that, we would like to share the names of the robbed students that lost their life on May the 24th.
Do not take those kids' names in your mouths, you disgusting people. You knew. You had the responsibility to know. That the locks on the doors were disabled by default, either by you plain ignorance or just silently approved of a practice you knew was against policy, making you, in my opinion, and according to the civil lawsuit against the school district, making you directly responsible. Now, I said this in the trial stream, and I will repeat it here, just in case I wasn't clear. Besides the shooter, who bears the responsibility for his actions, leaving the outside door unlocked, leaving the classroom doors unlocked by decision, approval, silent or outspoken from the school board of trustees, is the single biggest thing that got those kids killed. Had the outside door been locked, he had to have used forced entry, shooting himself in. That would have been seen by the cops up at the corner. Oh, Gigi, it wasn't the school district who settled, it was the city of Uvalde who settled for $2 million. I know I said yesterday's stream it was the school district. I was wrong. It was the city of Uvalde who settled with the parents for $2 million. The civil suit against the school district is still pending. And knowing now what probably they have been trying desperately to hide regarding the locks on the doors, fuck them. Sue them all the way to hell. Leave them homeless. Yeah, Turnip, that is against the city of Uvalde. The city of Uvalde. This is a separate entity, the school board of trustees. I don't. Okay, let's go into the civil suits now. The parents have a federal class action lawsuit asking for $27 billion. Billion with a B. Against the school district, these people. And I haven't found the actual document, but I hope they sued each and one of the board members individually as well. I assume they have. Because sue them to homelessness. Sue them to homelessness. They also have a 500 million lawsuit against the state police. That was filed in May of 2024 against 92 individual Texas Department of Public Safety officers. Not the school officers. The school officers are included in the school district lawsuit. Did the school board know about defeating the locks? They either knew or should have known. It makes no difference because they have the highest responsibility. The responsibility stops with them, starts and stops with the people on the school board of trustees. They are the ones making the economic decisions regarding safety on the schools, hiring the school resource officers, replacing locks, all of it. Them. So it doesn't really matter if they actively knew. It's their responsibility to know. So the 27 billion. Now, that number is insanely high. I don't think money is the issue there. It is having discovery made to find out who knew what at what time. Who was the person at the school issuing the magnets? But at the end, it doesn't really matter because they should have known. It's their obligation to know because they are elected officials, elected school board trustees. They signed up for it. They have this responsibility for everything that goes on the schools, on the school properties at that school district. So they are responsible for active shooter training. What active shooter training the officers receive? They are responsible for how often this training is supposed to go. They are responsible for how often the teachers and the kids will be trained in the school shooting responses. They are responsible for the locks on the doors, for the doors themselves, for the walls of the classrooms, for the ground within the boundaries of the school district. They have the ultimate responsibility to keep it safe. The rest of the Western world, when it comes to daycares and elementary schools, over here, in good of old safe Sweden, population of 10 million, just over 10 million people. 2024, we had 96 murders in total. We had, the past 5 years, we have had 3 school incidents with swords and knives and stuff. Everything is locked when it comes to daycare centers and elementary schools, because there's other dangers than shooters. You have the pedos. You have the parents who are by court, where the court has said you are not allowed to be near your child. Children needs to be safe from them as well. Robb Elementary. Let's hypothetically, let's say Robb Elementary, there was no school shooting. At any point in time, a pedo could walk into that school because the doors weren't locked. At any point in time, because this school wasn't locked. There was no school resource officer. Any lowlife should be run through a sawmill feet first pedo could have just walked in. Rest of the Western world, we lock the gate, we lock the outside door, we lock the classroom door, because there are other dangers than shooters. All right. Other civil lawsuit. Now, against the federal class action suit against the school district and the state police, completely understand. Completely understand. Now, they are also suing Meta. You know Meta, the owners of Facebook. Activision, because apparently the shooter played the Call of Duty, so they are suing the makers of Call of Duty. There has been motions of dismissal in those, which I genuinely think it will be dismissed. Blaming computer games has not worked in the past, will probably not work this time as well. Facebook, seriously? I don't know why they are suing Facebook. I would love to see the filing, to see what they are alleging. They are also suing UPS for delivering the guns and ammo to the shooter. I suspect that will be dismissed as well, because it is the messenger principle. They are simply, we are picking up a package, leaving off a package. And the gun manufacturer, which I also suspect, I mean, when it comes to gun manufacturer, the gun store who sold it, and the UPS, I suspect, unless there are some information that this was an active decision to sell to the shooter, who was then under the age of 21, I believe, it will probably be dismissed. I understand the parents. Sue everybody. And you will find out by the courts which ones are eligible. When it comes to these fuckers, with one exception, who wasn't on the school board at the time, who was elected in May, so he didn't have the time to have this information that the rest of them should have had, or it doesn't matter, because they are still responsible. Okay, Wim says here, you cannot ship the gun he used to a doorstep. It has to go through an FFL. That's interesting. Okay, thank you. Thank you. But is that on UPS? Because they don't have responsibility to know what's in the package other than what is declared on the package. Then in that case, it would be up to the gun store who sold it, packaged it, and then may or may not have written something to make the delivery functioning. Karateka, I think his grandparents bought the weapon. Jesus. Yeah, he had the amount of ammo, and it seems like, if I understand the information I have, more or less everything, if he stockpiled it over some time or something, I simply don't know. I don't have the answer to that. There's video of him buying the weapons on his birthday. Okay. This this is what I love about doing these streams is you guys in the chat correct me. You give me information. Thank you. Thank you, folks. But as of January 22nd, 2026, there are no court decisions yet as of dismissal of these cases. But in my opinion, this school board, sue them into oblivion, sue them homeless. As board of trustees, the school district, and as individuals, because they chose to put themselves on the ballot voluntarily. The filing of the federal lawsuit, I believe, was 2024. So just over, let's see here. The state police lawsuit was filed in May 2024, roughly when the city of Uvalde settled. The tech and gaming companies also then. The federal class action lawsuit, I don't actually have a date on when that was filed. But it seems like everything was filed roughly at the same time, just before or simultaneously as it was known that the city of Uvalde has settled. I would assume there will be new discovery motions regarding those civil lawsuits, especially against the school district, since they now have a teacher on the stand under oath testifying they were issued the magnets that disabled the locks. What does tech and gaming companies have to do with it? I assume it is because the shooter somehow wrote something on Facebook or Messenger, and the gaming companies because he played Call of Duty. Sorry, folks. I assume that this school board meeting would be open in its entirety, but not even in an extra meeting could they have transparency. They had 20 minutes of two people speaking from the public, the board member calling for unity for 10 to 15 minutes, and then they fucked off to a closed session. And as I said, no, you do not have closed sessions when it comes to an extra meeting regarding this event. You have everything. You call through the meeting and you allow people to talk. Because that's what they're there for. Folks, this is what I thought I had another hour for you, but since they had this closed meeting, I don't. I can only repeat what I said. Sue these motherfuckers, the school board, the school district, into oblivion, into homelessness. The 2022 board. Now we know that, let's bring this up again. Out of the 6 people who were there at the time, Only 2 remains. Laura Perez and Javier Flores. The rest have left for one reason or another. And I don't really care which reason they say. They better say it in court as well. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this stream when we checked the school board meeting in the new light of the information we had at trial. I will see if I can find out more if I find it, especially regarding the civil suits. I will present it to you. Until then, let's see, Friday. Judge Gull is retiring from the Delphi case. We are having a celebration stream, 5 p.m. tomorrow. Also, the person who wants to take Judge Gull's place is her daughter. So there might be a new Gull. And her daughter, the one thing that was brought to my attention is that she had to leave her previous district after not disclosing 16 terabytes of data to the defense in the case. The case was dismissed and she fucked off to another district attorney's office. Fired sideways, and now she wants to become a judge. So we're going to look into that as well. So that is what I have planned, at least. Now, I will find something to stream about tomorrow. I just don't know what yet. But again, thank you for showing up. Thank you for allowing me to do this. Thank you for sharing my outrage against the school administration in the city of Uvalde. Thank you. I will see you in the next stream or video. Won't we, Mr. Jingles? Won't we? Won't we? Won't we? Yes. Yes, we will. You all have a good one. See ya. Bye-bye.